evening, my little angels. December has returned, bringing the atmosphere of one of the biggest festival seasons of the year. Have my little angels prepared anything yet? And how do you feel about this special time? Choosing this year's Christmas stories bring back many thoughts to me, partly because old memories come to life. The Little March Girl is one of the stories I was told at bedtime when I was a child, just like you are now. And it's one of the very few childhood stories I remember entirely. How wonderful it is that up until now, I retell it to you. It's a touching story about the feelings of a little girl during Christmas time amidst the ever-changing hustle and bustle of a city. A story filled with warmth even in much coldness. Let's listen together. The Little March Girl. It was bitterly cold. Snow fell softly, and the day was almost over. Darkness gradually enveloped the space around. It was the final evening of the year. In the cold and gloomy streets, a small girl, barefoot and without a hat, walked through the roads. When she left home, she wore a pair of sandals, but they did her little good. The sandals were too large for her, as they belonged to her mother. The girl lost one while crossing the street as two horse-drawn carriages raced past. She couldn't find it again. The other sandal was snatched by a boy who ran off with it, declaring that he could use it as a cradle for his future child. So the girl continued to walk on, her bare feet now red and purple from the cold. In the old apron she wore, there were a few packets of matches. She held the box in her hand, inviting passers-by to buy her matches. Alas, no one bought her matches that day. Not a single coin was given to her. The little girl trembled from hunger and cold. She shuffled along. White snowflakes landed on her long golden hair, floating delicately like clouds. Inside the houses, the bright light radiated a wonderful aroma from hearty meals and roasted geese. This is New Year's Eve, thought the March girl. She sat down, huddled in a small corner between two houses, one protruding farther than the other. She felt colder than ever. Yet she dared not go home. She had not sold a single match nor earned a penny. She would be punished for this. Moreover, it was cold at home too. Her household had merely a leaking roof to keep them dry. The wind swept through the gaps, although the largest holes had been stuffed with straw and rags. The girl's hands were stiffening from the cold. She wished for a small match to warm herself. I could take a match from the box, strike it against the wall, and warm my hands. Thinking this, she pulled out a match. The match flared up and burned. It emitted a warm, bright flame, like a little candle. She held her hands over it, gazing at the light. She saw its glow as something extraordinary. It felt as if she was sitting in front of a large iron stove, complete with shining brass knobs and a brass lid. The warmth was so magnificent and enchanting. She stretched out her feet to warm them as well. But the little flame quickly went out. The stove vanished along with it. All that remained in her hand was the burnt-out stuff of the match. The girl struck another match against the wall. It flared up brightly. As its light illuminated the wall, it became translucent, like a thin veil. she saw inside the room a dining table covered with a white cloth as pure as snow. On it was a gleaming set of dishes. A beautiful roast goose, steaming warmly, was filled with apples and plums. And what could be more wonderful than that? The goose leapt from the plate and walked across the floor with a knife and fork stuck in his chest, heading towards her. But the match went out again. The girl no longer saw the roast goose, only the thick cold wall remained before her. She struck another match. This time, she found herself sitting beneath a magnificent Christmas tree. It was larger and far more beautiful than the tree she had seen last year through the window of the wealthy merchant's home. Thousands of sparkling candles twinkled on the green branches, and color images like illustrations from the storybook smiled down at her. The girl stretched out both hands toward them, but the match went out once more. However, the Christmas light continued to shine all around her on the street. They looked like bright stars shining in the night sky. One of them fell, jarring a long streak of fire. Someone is leaving this world, the girl thought. Her grandmother, the only person who ever loved her, had passed away. She had told her that when the star falls, a soul ascends to meet God. She struck another match against the wall. The match burned bright, and in its brilliant light, her grandmother appeared, looking kindly and beautifully at her. "Grandma," the girl cried out, "take me with you. I know you will disappear when the match goes out. You will vanish like the warm stuff, the wonderful roast goose, and the beautiful Christmas tree." In a hurry, she struck the entire bundle of matches. The girl wanted to keep her grandmother with her. The matches burned so brightly that their light seemed to be even more radiant than the light of the day. Her grandmother had never looked so beautiful and magnificent. She embraced her girl, and together they rose through the light and joy of New Year's Eve on earth. They soared high to a place where there was no more cold, no more hunger, and no more fear. The little match girl and her grandmother, they were with God. The following morning, on the first day of the new year, in a corner by the wall, people discovered a little girl with rosy cheeks and a gentle smile. She had died in the last hour of the old year. She sat there, stiff and cold, holding her matches with bundle almost burned to ash. She just wanted to warm herself, people said, and that was all they could think. No one imagined nor knew of the beautiful vision she had seen, the happiness she had experienced when, at last, she had been with her grandmother in the brightness of the new year. Dreams are something everyone has. Our living conditions partly influence big or small, lofty or simple dreams. The little match girl, with her simple wishes for warmth, love, hearty meals, and a Christmas spent sitting beside a decorated tree like all other children, steps out of Andersen's work. Though the story is sad, it lives on in the hearts of those who harbor love and a wish to share it with the world. I wish my little loves a happy, meaningful Christmas filled with warmth, laughter, and reflections that help your souls grow and stay healthy. Today's story time is over. I wish my angels a good night's sleep. I kiss you long on your forehead. See you again next time.